What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you all stopping in for a new episode of Edgework Studio by DroneShot FPV. I just wanted to try that that out, make sure it rolled off the tongue right. I have made it back safe and sound. It is indeed Wednesday. Today is the drawing. But first, I wanted to go ahead again and say thanks, guys, for the comments and stuff on the other videos. Welcome to all the new subscribers. I appreciate you guys tuning in and new suggestions flying in and stuff like that. It's awesome. I love when the community comes together and tries to help each other. That's what we're all about. Today, I'm going to do not a down and dirty, quick and dirty, but sort of. I have to go somewhere soon. My wife gets off work. But I wanted to go ahead and get a video in and so that I could get it at least edited whenever we get back home and not be up all night. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to sharpen this knife, which I'm also not reviewing yet. I will review the knife itself, but this is off of Amazon. I've seen these. It's the Tosa knives, Tosa. They're very inexpensive. It was shipped via the seller Amazon Japan. This was, they call it a Boeki. It's kind of a Funayuki, or whatever you call that. They call them the fish knives or whatever. This was 30 bucks. So that's shipped. And I received it in like a week. So that's great. So it is kind of a Deba shape, whatever you say it, don't know. I've heard it both ways, but it is double beveled. It's a little thicker, but not too thick. Devas are very thick on the spine. Of course, they're a single bevel. This is more for slicing and preparing fish. It has an excellent distal taper. It is rough, and from what I can tell, this is either Shirogami 1 or Shirogami 2. I'm leaning towards 2. It did not disclose the steel. I'll give you guys a closer look here in the GoPro here shortly, but yeah, this from my experience, how it sharpens, the burr, which I've only done a 400 grit edge so far. I just wanted to do a test, right, because I wanted to see what this was, make sure it wasn't going to be a trash video. It feels like a decently hard Shirogami 2. It kind of feels like my Tojiros, which are roughly about 61 HRC, right? So anyway, check those out. But I wanted to show you guys something. What I am going to sharpen it on today, and you guys may have seen these on AliExpress. These are the REHOO. I'll show you over here. They're, well, supposedly resin bonded diamond stones, but they're poured. They're a complete actual stone. I do see diamonds in the mix, and it does appear to be everything they've claimed it to be, but the sharpening speed, I hear, leaves some to be desired. It doesn't seem like it's 1,000 grit. That's what this one's claiming to be. It's a 1,000 grit diamond, resin bonded diamond stone, but it's a pouring stone, they call it. I do also have this one, which is supposedly the 10,000 grit, which I've talked about, right? It appears to have more diamonds in the mix than this does, and they do seem finer. So again, I don't know, but I want to know, before we get into any of that, and before I announce the winner, if you guys have ever seen one of these. Now, I've wanted one of these for a hot minute, but I'm going to show this to you. This is by one of our favorite companies, Shapton. This is the Naoru, or however you say it. I'll show you there, right? This, if you can read that, which I'll put some of it under there. It's a cast iron lapping system. It comes in, I got it out of this box, but it comes with two different silicon carbide grit powders, medium and coarse. And it comes with the system, which is just the unit itself. I'm going to show you here in the GoPro. We grab it, but it's cast iron, right? Normally we use float glass, whatever, but look at this bad boy. This thing is massive. You can see it says Shapton on the back there. This is a coated, or what do you call it? Not coated, but man, I am drawing a blank. You know, whenever you put cast iron, you put oil on it and you bake it in the oven. Anyway, why that's escaping my brain, I don't know. But it has this grid matrix in here. So what you do is you just spray it and get it wet with like a spray bottle. You don't want to soak it or fill it up. Just wet enough that the silicon carbide will cling to it. You're supposed to sprinkle it in 3 different places, you know, top, middle, bottom. And then you rub your stone on it like you would the float glass, what they say up and down, and then this direction, and then this direction, whatever. And this system allows the stuff to slough off into these little tracks and stuff, and they'll pool there, and you can use this for quite some time and get great results. I tested it for the first time yesterday, and it worked out really well. It does take getting used to, so I will say that. I used too much water the first time. I used too little water the second time. I used too little grit. I used too much grit. You know, again, it's a fine tune. I know how to do it on float glass, no problem, because I can eyeball it. This is just a little different, right? Like everything else, practice makes perfect. So let's go ahead and we'll do the drawing real quick. I will grab my phone. And if it takes me a second here, because I got to pull this up, I will cut this video. But I got the drawing winner here. So, and this is going to be for the Altstone Fukami. Let's see, where are we now? I'm just going to bring it up real quick. So I do apologize, my friends. How's everybody's week been, right? So, I mean, Memorial Day was Monday. How many of you guys had the day off Monday? I did, but I was traveling back home, of course. So that was no fun. Okay, well, my phone is not loading. 1 second, guys. I'm going to cut the video here. Okay. I don't know why I even needed to look at my phone. I pulled the spin earlier today, but I didn't look at it. So, and I apologize for not having the paper in front of me, but I figured I had my phone. Hey, no big deal. That's what you get for relying on technology. Winner, guess who? Drum roll, Sean Stepplefield. I appreciate you, buddy. So all you gotta do is shoot me an email, or I think you can shoot me one on Insta. It doesn't matter. Shoot me your address, man, and I'll get this stuff shipped out to you, and I think you'll enjoy it. So I appreciate you for being part of the team. That officially starts the next drawing, so we're going to do things a little different. I will throw in another knife, as I'm doing with this for Sean, as well as a whetstone. It might be an Altstone Fukami. It might be a J-Nat. I don't know. We'll just see what I got on hand here. I haven't gone through my inventory. I'm kind of lazy right now, so that's kind of the real deal here. So I apologize. But without any more talking, let's go ahead and we'll talk while we sharpen. Let's get you guys a closer look at this here knife. So there she is, and again, it's a beautiful little knife. It does, here's one thing that's funny. This reminds me of the Hatsukokoro Kurogane as far as a couple weird grind spots that were kind of high, or look like they sat on the either belt or something, like right here. You can kind of see, maybe, if I get it in the perfect lighting. It doesn't really matter. It just, take my word for it, it is there. But it looks like it just got ground a little too much right there. I'm going to wipe this wax off the edge because I took off the lacquer layer, which was on it, which some do. We've discussed that before. Nothing wrong with it. It just prevents rust, that's a good thing. So I was impressed enough with this knife that I went ahead and I bought a couple more, a Sentoku and a Nakiri. So those will be coming here soon. They'll probably be part of the giveaway for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. But yeah, I mean, again, there's some bevel issues, but this is 30 bucks, 32 bucks, whatever it was. The handle has some stepping, which I don't care about, but it is a standard wah handle and a plastic ferrule, nothing major. But let me show you real quick. So I sharpened this with a 400 grit. Oh, that brings me to another topic too. Haha. So I'm glad I said that because I want you guys to understand why I did this. So I bought this simply because I wanted to prove a point and prove them wrong. See that? I use that to put a bevel on this thing. I'll tell you, the 400 grit side, it did a good job. And a sharp pebble stone, it's gonna work. It just has issues such as dishing and things of that nature. I showed you guys before this, which actually is a little workhorse. This is the Sharp Pebble. It's a clone. The 6000, 1000, the standard blue and white, but it just isn't marked Sharp Pebble. I thought I bought a Sharp Pebble, like this was years ago on Amazon, whenever they first came out, but there was the clones. So that's actually what I thought I was buying, was a Sharp Pebble. I didn't know. This was before I bought my first real Japanese stone. Like I said, this is like 2015, 16, something like that, right? Anyway, the point being, I bought that because on the Amazon listing, and I'll probably post a picture here, it shows that it has CBN abrasive in it. I don't believe that for a minute. The box itself says, just right here on the side, put that in the GoPro real quick. You can see it right there. You see where it says material silicon carbide, and that might be a little blurry, and I apologize. I'm trying to shove it in the face there. You would think if it definitely had CBN abrasive in it, which makes 0 sense, but you would think that it would also post that on the box, unless it's an old marketing box. Don't know. I talked with Alpha Rebo, another viewer and a Reddit friend. He saw that and asked me what I thought. I said, I don't know, I'll buy one and check it out. So I don't believe it does. I looked at it, it doesn't look like there's CBN, but who knows? I asked Sharp Pebble, waiting on their response. So, but I did put a 400 grit edge on here with that Sharp Pebble stone, and I stropped it. I mean, I will say this, that is quiet, and that's insane. Very smooth. Oop, let's do it this way because that's flimsy and been wet. I mean, we're pushing off of a 400. I don't know if it'll cut a paper towel. I didn't even try that, but I can real quick. I'll grab this towel over here. We'll just see if I get anything. Not really. I mean, well, yeah. In certain spots. So it tore some of it. Some of it was a clean cut. You can see the tears. But I'm not done with it. I didn't like refine this like crazy. So anyway, just wanted to show you guys that because I thought that was, number one, kind of funny that I have that Sharp Pebble. And I really shouldn't knock it, right? Because it's not about the amount of money you spend on a stone. That has nothing to do with anything. It just has to do with your skill level. So anyway, let's just go ahead and we'll see what this REHOO, which is green as green could be. We'll see what the old REHOO do on the Shirogami 2. And again, there's a lot of complaints about this stone. Well, there are some. Not everybody has the same complaint. I think there's a massive QC issue with it. So let's see. This is the same one that I used to help fix my Microtech. Letting us hear it here. So there is absolutely no doubt that it is removing metal, right? It is 100% doing that. So the burr, I'm going to tell you right away, is hardly there. There's the beginnings of a burr is what I would call that. It appears as if it is mostly shined up my edge. That tells me, because it was not glossy like this before, the actual edge bevel, I mean, you kind of see it reflecting a little bit there. It's not the greatest viewpoint, and I apologize. I do have a camera coming that's going to do better for that soon. So I'm upping my videos again, guys. As the channel grows, we grow, right? Anyway, that tells me whenever it's doing less cutting and more polishing, that there's more resin in there that's non-abrasive. That doesn't mean that it's incapable of cutting. It just means that in this particular instance, it is not. It feels rough. I shouldn't say too rough. When I say rough, people probably get confused. It feels... trying to compare it to something. It kind of feels like a 1200 grit King Deluxe. I think that'd be a fair comparison as far as the feeling. There's a little bit more of a burr now. I wouldn't call it a 1000 grit at this point, just based on my current experience. I don't know if it has anything to do, because I'm using the bottom side. Yeah, see, it's not really raising that burr up. Let me try something just as a test. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? We're here to check out this little knife a little bit, but we're mostly here for this guy. Let's flip it. So this is what's designated as the top. I cleaned it as soon as I got it. It was dirty. I got it from a Reddit user. Okay, Jethro Smash. Let's check the top. That feels a little rougher, so let's give her a shot. Let's see. Same but different. Same. Any of you guys watch that Real Japan? Wow. Okay. That was more aggressive. Coincidental? Maybe. Was the other side maybe more worn? I don't know, maybe. I mean, this is one of those DMD SIC stones that are used to fix the surfaces whenever they get kind of glazed or loaded or whatever on the resin bonded stones that they send or sell. They don't make them, they just provide them. Okay. Yeah, we're getting quite a bit more than I was. Maybe I shouldn't say quite a bit. We're getting more. It's really smoothed out here. And I don't know if that was from before or if that's from now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to prep the surface with this little SIC stone. So you can see it tearing the grit off here. I mean, this is that SIC stone's material. And instead of jacking up my water, I'm going to real quick rinse this off in my sink. Be right back, just right over here. I just don't want to contaminate the water, right? If I'm going to dip in there and get water. And actually, while I'm over here, I'm going to turn the water down so it doesn't destroy your ears. Give it a couple more of those swoops while being water ran on it. One of the things I've always found interesting about these stones when I see them listed on AliExpress is they talk about how they are a pouring process, and they say, essentially, they say if you have a problem with the fact that there could be holes similar, that's a hole, those little black spots right there. Yeah, right there. That's holes from the pouring process. It doesn't affect sharpening. But a lot of people, I guess, have complained about it enough to the point where they put it in their ad at one point. I don't know if it's still there. But basically they say, look, if that bothers you, don't buy it. Because it's going to be there. They don't mince any words about it. These are like 35 bucks though. I would expect some real good consistency out of them. All right, let's see if we got any change. Yeah, that feels different. That's not gonna work for me. It's got a slight little belly to the tip, so I gotta kind of rock it a little bit here. I mean, we've got a pretty good burr. I'll do this other side. I tell you what, that'll be the good tell. There was such a massive burr using the 400 side of that sharp pebble yesterday that it was almost difficult to sharpen because it was just in the way. This is definitely shined up like a mirror. I can tell you that. This end back here needs some attention. That's something I will come back through later with. Let me just see what happens here real fast. Huh. That actually ground that decently. It still needs work, so I'm just gonna come back to it. I just wanted to see. So let's go ahead and continue this side. Let's see what happens now. I'm gonna do kind of the same process here. I'm gonna just feel it out. Like I said, there was a burr, so I mean we had metal movement. I'd be curious if this side gets shiny too, now that I flip the stone over. Because if there's a difference on the bottom versus the top, number one, that can be problematic. Trying to move it all over and that just sucked. That was on me though. I got lots of stuff jangling and bouncing over here because I apparently am putting a lot of pressure on. I am putting pressure on, but not a ton. What's doing all that? Maybe it's my water bottle. I don't know, but it's driving me nuts. If it's driving me nuts, it's got to be driving you guys. Oh, I see. I got a lot of stuff that when jangled makes noise. It's okay. Okay. So again, very minimal on the burr here. We do have some shine. It doesn't appear to be as pronounced. That could be because I have not spent enough time on it as I did the other yet. It does seem more cloudy. Yeah, so I don't know, like the feedback on this thing's weird. It's confusing. I think that's a more appropriate word. Because it kind of feels a little bit like ceramic stones that are fine. But it's got a gritty... Boy, it's gonna drive me crazy. Hey, that fell right in place. I'd never do that again. I'm just gonna leave it there. It's got... Yeah, it's kind of gritty. It reminds me of a lower grit stone, but it's not cutting like one. It feels rough, like you feel like, man, I gotta be removing some serious metal here. Like, listen. I mean, that sounds like it's doing some major stuff. Like sand. But it's not. So after all that, right, if I come up here and I check my burr, that's barely. I mean, there's a burr. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not raising one. But man, you would expect a lot more. Especially from diamond-based abrasives. It's not 1,000 grit. Personally, I would probably put that 2,000 grit, closer to 3. Thing is I hate to call it 3 because if I go 3, it's a lot rougher than that. And your result here doesn't look like 3 or feel like 3. It also has been a minute since I put a 3K edge on anything. Let's do this. I've got a burr that's enough in my thoughts, the way that this feels. I got a burr that should be enough that I can now deburr it, do deburring strokes here, and we'll test it. Yeah, this stuff deburrs just like Shirogami. So if it's not 2, it's 1. That's a fact. It's not Aogami, so it's not blue steel. It's definitely white steel, because it can't be anything else. Just based on how it looks, it's not stainless. Obviously, I mean, it even says it's not. It says it's carbon steel. So yeah, it's either Shirogami 1 or Shirogami 2. I mean, I guess it could be 3. I've never personally had any Shirogami 3. I mean, there's reasons behind the fact that I purposely don't want to buy anything with Shirogami 3. Not that I think that it's bad. It just doesn't align with properties I think that I want to use. Sharpening wise, maybe, and edge retention. But then again, I've got knives in all kinds of different steels, so I'm probably just talking out of my rear end, so you have to forgive me. It is 100% a personal preference, not a 100% this steel sucks preference. The knife does feel like it has a slight bend in it somewhere, and I guarantee you it does. But it's more going to be towards the edge surface than anything. So let me do this. Flush it. I cannot believe June is right around the corner, guys. I cannot believe it. All right, I'm going to test it without stropping first. We'll strop after. I'm going to use the first piece of paper that I used when I demonstrated the 400 grit edge. I'm going to look at it with my Carson microscope just real fast. So there's some really, really interesting marks on this edge. I am going to assume they all came from the, well, I would say I would assume they all came from the 400, but this should have taken them out. No, I didn't go like a lot of time on it. But it's, you'll see. I'll try and show it to you in the shot, the bevel shot. So let's take a look. First of all, let's listen. Yeah. I mean, she's super smooth. Ew, that wasn't. That was kind of. Let me get a different piece of paper. That one's got some wet spots anyway, so let's try this again. Oh yeah. She's, I mean, so this thing's cutting really nice. It would great on food, guaranteed, guaranteed. There's some hang-ups though. So let's drop it. Let's strab it. We're gonna go ahead and use this guy with the red compound, the Boscher. I don't know how you say it. They're from Poland. B-A-C-H-E-R, Boscher. Maybe. This is supposedly 2000 grit compound. I can't confirm, but I can confirm there's abrasives. They're shining right at me right now. I can see them. And I've had great success with this compound and this strop. I should have used my kangaroo strop though with the diamonds. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Is this really 2000 grit? I don't know. Does this work every time I've used it? 100%. We'll go to the black side, supposedly 12,000. I don't see any grit shining back at me, glistening in the sun above my face. Face. Apparently I'm having problems with words today, guys. Get more sleep. That's what I recommend. Otherwise you'll end up like me, a babbling idiot. Congratulations again, Sean, my friend. I do appreciate you, buddy. Ooh. That's a little smoother. Oh yeah. I'm just going various places of the blade here. Ain't doing shit up there. I had to start it with a little saw in action. All right, it'll do it. You gotta coax it a little bit. Let's get the paper towel. Just out of curiosity. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Oh, that ain't worth a shit. Yeah, that kind of worked. So it did while it was attached to the roll. It cut it. Now let's see if I can do it free-handed here. Nope. A little bit, but you saw I had to go up with a swoop, right? Let's do, Nah. So it needs more attention. So I'm going to tell you this right now. That stone sucks. I'm just going to say it. And I don't mean to be that way. I mean, if I do like this, I mean, that's going to cut through with some tears. Normally I would tell you it could potentially be my technique, but I'll show you the bevel, what it looks like in the shot here. If I probably already put it up, but I'll put it up again. There's like a cross hatch pattern, and I noticed that yesterday with the 400 grit. Now I could probably put that 1000 grit sharp pebble up here and take out that cross hatch pattern. This thing, I'm telling you, I didn't see a lot of diamonds in there. And the fact that it shines, excuse me, so much based on that little bit of time tells me that there's a lot more buffing going on from the resin compound. So maybe this was just a bad pour. That's absolutely possible, especially with these mass-produced Chinese stones like this that are just trying to cash in on buzzwords. Diamond, right? So, for what it's worth, I'm not saying that the REHOO stones are bad. I've heard good and bad about them. I got this 10K to check out, which does have more promise. So we'll mess with that, not today. How long have I had you guys today? Yeah, I've had you long enough, so I do apologize, but I also thank you. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Remember, the new giveaway has started as of today. 2 weeks from today, another Wednesday, I will do another drawing announcement, and that winner wins a whetstone and a knife. All you have to do to be entered is it costs you nothing. you have to subscribe to my channel and you have to leave a comment. So starting today's video and any video from today until the day before I draw, leave a comment on the new videos, right? I mean, you can leave comments on old videos too, I guess. But I'm looking for the newer ones just to kind of, you know, bring engagement, right? Because I want to get the community talking. I want to hear what you guys' opinions. I want to hear suggestions. It's better when the community has things to say, but positive things to say, right? I don't mind critical responses too. Just don't be a dick about it, right? Tell me some things. But anyway, I appreciate you guys tuning in. You guys are like my family, so thank you so much for the support. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers. Once we get there, we're going to have a big giveaway drawing. It's going to be a Japanese carbon knife. So yeah, just be sure that you tell your friends, send them over to sign up. We'll get to that drawing soon enough. I'm going to give away a ton of stuff, guys. So I've got a lot of stuff that I can give away. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in, and I will see you this weekend. Peace.